And from one Ukraine article to other, Germany to halve military aid for Ukraine despite possible Trump White House. This definitely comes as a little bit of a surprise. I know Germany was never up for sending what to Ukraine, however, this is definitely a surprise. I guess Scholz is now really trying to save his skin and he's trying to take some voters from the alternative für Deutschland and probably some voters from other camps who want peace. That's only logical explanation why he would be pulling out this at this moment. Okay, I'm saving this image though. This image is going to be very funny. I'm gonna think of some funny dialogue when you look at this smile though. This is going to be very good. Berlin. Germany plans to halve its military aid to Ukraine next year, despite concerns that US support for Kiev could potentially diminish if Republican candidate Donald Trump returns to the White House. German aid to Ukraine will be cut to 4 billion euros in 2025 from around 8 billion euros in 2024. According to a draft of the 2025 budget seen by Reuters. Germany hopes Ukraine will be able to meet the bulk of its military needs with the US 50 billion in loans from the proceeds of frozen Russian assets approved by the Group of Seven, and that funds earmarked for armaments will not be fully used. Ukraine financing is secured for the foreseeable future thanks to the European instruments and the G7 loans, German Finance Minister Christian Lindner said on Wednesday at the news conference. Washington pushed to front-load the loans to give Ukraine a big lump sum now. Officials said EU leaders agreed to the idea in part that it reduces the chance of Ukraine being short of funds if Trump returns to the White House. Alarm bells rang across Europe this week after Trump picked Senator J.D. Vance, who opposes military aid for Ukraine, and warned Europe will have to rely less on the United States to defend the continent as his candidate for vice president. Europe should have more than enough manpower to defend itself. It should have more than enough military personnel, military technology. It should have more than enough tanks, APCs, drones, planes, ships, warships, destroyers, submarines. Europe, or the European Union, is made of almost 30 nations. NATO is made of 31 nations, if I remember correctly. If these nations cannot put together a competent force, then what the fuck are you doing? Bro, goddamn Finland had managed to defend of 1 million men of Soviet Union in 1940, and you cannot put a decent force in 2024. You are a joke. You are a disgrace. Get a goddamn grip. Trump sparked fierce criticism from Western officials for suggesting he would not protect countries that failed to meet the transatlantic military alliance's defense spending targets and would even encourage Russia to attack them. Germany has faced criticism from repeatedly missing a NATO target of spending 2% of its economic output on defense. They cannot put out those two defense because they run quite a deficit on energy production. The renewable sources simply do not provide a stable output of energy. They have to buy that energy on the international trading something of European Union. As well as some other problems, we don't talk about them. Depleted military stocks, yes, that's a big problem. Europe military reserves are getting depleted quite a bit, both in ammunition and older, vehicles. Whilst Russia seems to be doing very well with producing a lot of ammunition and new vehicles, although those new vehicles are pretty outdated. However, hey, 10 APCs is better than 10 infantry squads. Obviously, if they have javelins, Carl Gustavs and any sort of that anti-tank, obviously they're gonna do better. However, if we are talking about light infantry without anti-tank weapons, then obviously those APCs will make a difference. The stocks of Germany's armed forces, already run down by decades of underinvestment, have been further depleted by arms supplies to Kiev. So far, Berlin has donated 3 Patriot air defense units to Kiev, more than any other country, bringing down the number of Patriot systems in Germany to 9. That's not much. That's not many. Germany's fractious coalition of left-leaning social democrats, pro-business liberals, and ecologist Greens has struggled to comply with NATO spending target due to self-imposed rules that limit the amount of state borrowing they can take on. Also, basically, they are trying to not indebt their nation even further. That's also a not good sign when they are not increasing the spending because they cannot due to money. That is not good. That is not a good sign at all. That should be very worrying to hear. Although military aid to Ukraine will be cut, Germany will comply with the NATO target of spending 2% of GDP on defense in 2025, with total of 75.3 billion euros. Days after Russia's 2022 invasion of Ukraine, Chancellor Olaf Scholz announced a Zeitenwende, a German historic turning point with a 100 billion euro special fund to bring the military up to speed. So far, we have not seen any of that to materialize at all. I heard a lot of this was wasted due to corruption and due to incompetence because German defense ministry simply has no idea what it is supposed to do. It has no idea what it is doing. Basically, politicians trying to figure out how military works. And if you know anything about this, then you know that this is never a good thing when politicians start to talk into military because they have no fucking idea how military operates and should operate. From this special fund, there will be a 22 billion euro more for defense plus 53.3 billion euros in the regular budget, but still less than that sought by Defense Minister Boris Pistorius. The defense budget is set to receive a meager 1.3 billion euros more than in 2024, far below the 6.7 billion euros requested by Pistorius. As ever-increasing annual operating costs outpace this raise, the defense minister is being forced to cut ammunition orders for 2025 by more than half, reduce procurement by 260 million euros and research and development by over 200 million euros. The budget for 2025 comes with the midterm financial planning until 2028, the year when the Armed Forces Special Fund to meet NATO's minimum spending goals is due to run out, and 80 billion euros will be needed for defense as noted in the financial plan. In 2028, there is a gap of 39 billion euros in the regular budget, of which 28 billion euros are needed to comply with the NATO target without the special fund. Sources from the finance minister said decisions on how the hole will be plugged are not likely to be taken until the 2025 election. Oh yeah, there should be a German election in 2025. That's going to be also very interesting, and it's very likely that Scholz, well, I'm not quite sure what will happen to Scholz. I think he is going to make a alliance with the CDU, CSU, and it will be once again CDU SPD coalition. So basically the Germany will just go the full circle and go to how it was before this government. The 80 billion euros that have been put on display for 2028 simply do not exist. Yes, this happens quite a lot. The money, it does not exist. Well, they can always print the money, said Ingo Gadechens, a member of the Parliament's Budget Committee from the Conservative Opposition Party CDU. The coalition is not even trying to cover this up, but they are openly admitting it. The Reuters article, well, we knew it was probably Reuters article because of this logo, but pretty decently long article actually. Much longer than what we usually expect from Reuters. However, what I wanted to say about this, yeah, EU is in a lot of trouble because most of them just started spending in 2022, let's be real. And that's the problem. They started to actually up their spending when the shit hit the fan. Like if they were spending more on the defense or were gradually increasing their spending on defense and hit the target by like 2021, then the Europe would have far more ammunition reserves, it would have far more reserve equipment, vehicles, planes, and stuff like that. they just started to spend out like a bunch of scared chickens, and they are running in all directions, trying to spend in all directions. And obviously, this is not going to be the most effective way to solve this. A lot of taxpayers' money is going to be wasted due to an incompetency, and some money will be also wasted due to corruption. That's just how things are. At this moment, EU is not doing well at all. Thankfully, Russia simply does not have enough manpower to ever garrison the European Union or the Europe. They simply do not have enough men. So I mean, even if they manage to beat the European army, like, they would simply not have enough men to actually sustain the occupation. So there you go. Russia will simply never invade EU. No, they will never invade us to occupy us. If they will ever fire those shots, it will be nuclear shots, because they simply cannot afford to waste about 2 million, or not 2 million, about how many men would you need to garrison Europe? Up to, it depends from region to region, but I think we are talking about 8 to 10 million men. That is also included in military outposts, checkpoints, military police. That will take a lot of manpower, because there's like, how much? 500 million people in the European Union? Like, that's going to take a lot of soldiers to handle. And even Russia does not have this amount of manpower. And I doubt China will care about occupying Europe. So this is at least one positive thing, I guess.